Let's talk about speed control of the motor. Now these are called rheostats. That's your speed control for your lathe motor. Some rheostats will not work with some motors, so you need to make sure that the rheostat that you have is going to work for your motor. So you're going to need to test that. Like for example, this one here, if you look at the cord, it plugs directly into the lathe motor cord, which means that this is made specifically for this lathe motor. So using something else may not work. So that's one important thing that you need to be aware of. Next thing is we've got this other one here, and this is another variation, and this is an old one, and this works very well also. And it's got, in its electrical line, it's got these two plugs here. Let's take a closer look at what it says here. And now if you can see, this says motor, so this is where you plug your motor in, and this says light, so you can plug in a light to illuminate your work that you're working on, and you plug your motor in there to make it work, as you can see. Now, this third item, this is a relatively new one. This is actually a router control, and this can be hung on the wall or bolted to your bench or whatever. And it's in the off position here, and then you got a variable speed where you can dial the amount of speed or full speed. Now with this tabletop version, it's best for application when you have long durations of set speeds that need to be maintained at a certain speed. This one, for example, will not work in place of this one. And you don't want to be able to test it to make sure, as you can hear, that it rotates. The more you depress the pedal, the faster it rotates. And it's probably best to think of it as in terms of your gas pedal of your car. And so you'll get a feel for the speed control, just like you would get the feel for the speed control of your automobile. And also replacement rheostats can be purchased new from your clock material house, or you can easily find them used, like this one's used one I picked up. This one is not specifically made for lathes, it's a router control, but it works just as well. And I find that the new ones that you find at the material houses are almost as expensive as the used ones. So if you want to try to maintain your originality and the age period for your lathe, you might want to locate an old one, but make sure it works, or else just buy a new one. And the real advantage of these versus this one is that it's foot controlled, so you can have both hands working on the lathe without having to take your hands away from your work, and that way it doesn't interrupt your work, and just you use your foot control to adjust the speed as you're working with your hands. So as a beginner, you really want to go with the foot control. You don't want to go with this. This is more for more other and advanced applications. So go with the foot control, and you'll be much more happier, and you'll be able to do your work much more successfully that way as a new person or a beginner.